The flickering fluorescent tube above Kemi's workstation hummed a tune as weary as she felt. Lagos at night wasn't quiet, not ever, but the usual cacophony of traffic and distant music was being subtly, unnervingly overridden. A low thrum seemed to resonate through the concrete of her surreal apartment building, a vibration she felt more in her bones than heard with her ears. Her traffic management app code, projected onto the screen, shimmered sometimes, pixels rearranging themselves into fleeting, swirling patterns that looked disturbingly like water currents. Still at it, Kemi? Chinidu, her flatmate, padded into the living area, rubbing sleep from his eyes. He worked late shifts as a data analyst downtown. You've been coding since yesterday? Kemi stretched, her back aching. Feels like it. And this damn app is fighting me. It's throwing errors I didn't even code. Maybe you should get some sleep. You're seeing things, Chinita chuckled, grabbing a bottle of water from the fridge. Or maybe the app is haunted by the ghost of traffic past. Don't joke, Kemi mumbled, then paused. Actually, things have been weird, Chinidu. Like really weird. She told him about the phone's signal drops near the bridge, the static that sounded like water, the flickering lights, the strange, cold spots in the apartment. Chinita leaned against the doorframe, listening with a polite but unconvinced expression. Sounds like electrical issues, maybe interference from the construction. Or stress, seriously. You've been working too hard. It's more than that, she insisted, a tremor in her voice. Walking by the lagoon the other day, I saw something. In the water. It wasn't a boat, it wasn't a fish. It moved too fast, too elegantly. And the water glowed. Chinita's smile faded slightly. Glowing water? Kemi, have you seen a doctor? Or maybe a traditional healer? Just kidding. He held up his hands. Look, I'm sure there's a logical explanation. Maybe a weird reflection. Some industrial runoff causing bioluminescence? This is Lagos. Anything's possible with pollution. His rational dismissiveness, while understandable, was frustrating. He couldn't see the subtle shifts in reality she was witnessing. The glitches worsened. Her smart TV would randomly switch to a channel broadcasting only static, but within the static, she could discern vague shapes moving. Her phone wallpaper, a photo of the Lagos skyline, would sometimes show translucent figures drifting among the skyscrapers. Her dreams became terrifyingly real, drowning, pursued by something ancient and furious from the deep. One afternoon, she met her best friend, Amara, for street food. Amara, a graphic designer with a penchant for crystals and astrology, listened with wide eyes. Okay, glowing water and weird static is one thing, Amara said, stirring her jollof rice thoughtfully. But things in your dreams? That's intense, Kemi. It feels real, Mara. Like, too real. And then this arrived. Kemi pulled out the gray stone and the note she'd received. Amara picked up the stone, turning it over in her fingers. Whoa, this feels heavy. Not just weight, but energy. She looked at the note, her brow furrowed. She is disturbed? Daughter of the city? This is deep. Exactly. It sounds like something out of Grandma's stories. But it's happening here. In Surreal. Kemi gestured wildly, nearly knocking over her bottle of Fanta. What does the concrete whispers poison even mean? And look to the old ways? I don't know the old ways. My idea of tradition is arguing over who gets the last piece of ISU Ellerin. Okay, calm down, Amara said gently. Maybe it is connected to the old stories. You know how Grandma talks about the spirits of the land and water? Yeah, but that's village stuff. This is Lagos. The lagoon is practically a highway now. Doesn't mean the spirits just pack up and leave because we built over their homes, Amara countered softly. Maybe they're angry because of the pollution, the construction, the poisoning the note talks about. She looked at the stone again. And this stone, maybe it's connected? Amara suggested she try talking to someone who understood these things, someone who bridged the gap between the old beliefs and the modern world. She mentioned hearing about an old woman who had a stall in the Akoka market near the university, who was said to have sight and knowledge of things others missed. People call her Ayabayodun. She sells herbs and charms, but folks say she knows more than just remedies. Reluctantly, Kemi agreed. Desperation was a powerful motivator. Finding Ayabayodun's stall wasn't easy. It was tucked away in a chaotic corner of the sprawling market, overflowing with dried leaves, roots, beads, and small, intricately carved wooden figures. Ayabayodun herself was small and wiry, with eyes that seemed to see right through Kemi's designer clothes and into her restless spirit. You carry trouble, Ayabayodun stated without preamble, her voice surprisingly strong despite her age. She wasn't looking at Kemi, but stirring a pot of something that smelled strongly of ginger and earth. Kemi stammered, How did you know? Ayabayodun finally turned, fixing Kemi with a knowing gaze. The city's energy is loud, child, but your disturbance is louder. It crackles around you like a storm. What brings you here, daughter of the city? Kemi's jaw dropped. You know that name? The spirits know many things, Ayabayodun said, her eyes glinting. They are not blind, even when we build walls of concrete to block them out. She gestured to a small stool. Sit. Show me what burdens you. Kemi sat and hesitantly pulled out the gray stone. As soon as Ayabayodun saw it, her expression hardened. Ah, the trespasser's stone, she murmured, picking it up with care, wrapping it in a piece of cloth. This is from a place of deep power where the earth's spirit sleeps. It has been taken, disturbed, and brought here where the Water Mother reigns. The Water Mother? Mami Wada, the great spirit of the waters, Ayabayodun explained patiently. She is ancient, powerful, and generous when respected, but furious when wronged. And this stone, this little piece of poisoned earth energy dropped into her domain. It is like sand in a wound. It disrupts her spirit, poisons her water, and makes her weep with rage and sorrow. That is the thrumming you feel, the storms in your dreams. Her crying. But why would anyone bring a stone like this here? Kemi asked, confused. Not intentionally, perhaps, Ayabayodun sighed. Much of the stone and sand used in this city's building comes from far away, dug from places that hold old magic. Sometimes, a piece like this slips through, carried in the belly of a truck or a ship, unknowingly brought to a place where its energy clashes terribly with the local spirits. The concrete does indeed whisper poison, child, because it is made from materials that have forgotten their sacred origins. So, the construction? The bridge. Kemi connected the dots. Yes, disturbing the water, polluting it, and building upon it with materials that carry foreign, hostile energy. It is a great offense. Ayabayodun looked at Kemi seriously. You see this because you are sensitive, daughter of the city. You are of this place, but your spirit can bridge the gap. The Water Mother is calling to you, showing you her pain, because she needs you to help set things right. Me, what can I do? I build apps. You are of this city, you navigate its ways, you understand its language, Ayabayodun said. But you have also been touched by the old ways. This stone must be returned, not to the city, but back towards its origin, or at least to a place of natural, unpolluted earth energy far from the Water Mother's primary domain. And an offering must be made, a sincere apology from the city, through you. How do I even know where it came from? Feel the stone, Ayabayodun instructed, placing the wrapped stone back in Kemi's hand. Quiet your mind. Where does its energy pull you? Where does it feel like home? Closing her eyes, Kemi focused. The stone in her hand seemed to vibrate faintly. She saw images, dusty quarries, vast, undulating landscapes, far from the dense urban sprawl. It wasn't a map, but a direction, a feeling of west and inland. Over the next few days, armed with this intuitive sense and Ayabayadun's further guidance on making a traditional offering, using items Kemi had to source from the bustling, modern market, a surprising blend of ancient needs and contemporary bartering, Kemi planned her journey. She told Chinidu she was visiting a friend up country. He nodded, relieved she was taking a break. Amara helped her pack, slipping a small, protective amulet into her bag. The journey was a blur of buses, dusty roads, and navigating small towns using Google Maps and asking elderly people for directions based on landmarks only they seemed to know. All the while, the stone was her compass, its subtle pull guiding her further inland, towards sparser, more natural landscapes. Finally, guided by the stone's insistent energy and Ayabayadun's whispered instructions resonating in her mind, Kemi found herself near a small, rocky outcrop far from any major city, a place where the air felt cleaner and the silence was profound, broken only by the wind. The stone felt intensely calm here, almost vibrating with contentment. Following Ayabayadun's directions, Kemi performed the simple offering ceremony by a small, clean stream that trickled down the rocks. She spoke her apology again, not just for herself, but for the city that had forgotten to respect the spirits of the land and water. With reverence, she placed the gray stone on the earth beside the stream, where it seemed to settle in with a quiet sigh of energy. On her return to Lagos, the difference wasn't dramatic, but it was palpable. The oppressive thrumming in her apartment was gone. The air felt lighter, and near the lagoon, while still far from pristine, the water seemed less agitated, the murky surface disturbed only by natural ripples. She told Chinidu some version of the story, focusing on the spiritual cleanse suggested by her grandma. He remained skeptical, but noted she seemed less stressed. Amara, however, listened intently. So, did it work? Kemi smiled, a genuine, relaxed smile that hadn't touched her face in weeks. The glitches are gone. The dreams, they're just dreams now, not nightmares. And the lagoon. She paused, searching for the right words. It feels calmer, like it's still sad, still hurt, but the rage is gone. Like it knows someone listened. The daughter of the city, Amara murmured, smiling back. Kemi looked out her window, not at the code on her screen, but at the distant, hazy outline of the city reaching towards the sky. She still had her app to finish, deadlines to meet, a modern life to live. But now, she saw the city differently. She saw the layers, the concrete and glass reaching upwards, but also the ancient earth and powerful water spirits pulsing beneath. The old ways weren't just stories, they were the foundation upon which the modern world was built, and sometimes they demanded to be remembered. And she, Kemi, the tech-savvy girl from Suralair, was now one of the people who remembered. In the midst of the blazing hot Lagos sun, Kemi saw more than just the shimmering heat haze now. Her sight wasn't a switch she could turn off. It was like gaining a new layer of vision. Walking through the marketplace, she saw the hurried energy of shoppers and vendors, but also faint, shimmering trails left by hurried Egan ancestral spirits, flitting between family stalls, checking on their descendants. The air near old, gnarled trees pulsed with patient, green light, the life force of Earth's spirits rooted deep. Even the traffic jams had a weird energy, a chaotic, frustrated red-black aura hanging over the gridlock, occasionally punctuated by sparks of spiritual static from drivers losing their tempers. Balancing this with her normal life was a process. Coding was harder when lines of code occasionally seemed to writhe with tiny, mischievous sprites drawn to the electrical currents. Socializing meant pretending not to notice the faint, sad glow around someone grappling with loss, or the sudden chill when a less than friendly entity drifted too close. Seriously, Kemi, are you even listening? Amara's voice cut through Kemi's internal noise. They were at a trendy new cafe in Lekki, the air thick with the smell of expensive coffee and the low hum of conversations. Kemi had been staring past Amara's shoulder, watching a shimmering, dog-like creature with too many teeth phase in and out of existence near the pastry counter. Sorry, Mara, Kemi blinked, forcing her attention back to her friend. Just saw something weird. The AC unit here has a spirit trying to nest in it. It looks like a very disgruntled squirrel. Amara took a slow sip of her coffee, a practiced expression of amused concern on her face. Since Kemi had returned from her upcountry break, and the lagoon had mysteriously seemed less malevolent, Amara had moved from worried friend to fascinated confidant. Chinidu, bless his pragmatic soul, still leaned heavily on the Kemi needs more sleep theory. A disgruntled squirrel spirit? Amara raised an eyebrow. Can you talk to it? I don't know. Kemi sighed, leaning back in her chair. It's not like it has little spirit subtitles scrolling underneath it. I just see them, sense them. Sometimes I get impressions. That squirrel spirit seems annoyed about the noise and the cold air. So, like spiritual nuisance complaints? Basically, Kemi chuckled, feeling a wave of affection for her friend's ability to take it all in stride, or at least pretend to. The stone thing with the lagoon felt huge, a major spiritual emergency. Most of what I see now is background noise, lingering emotions, minor nature spirits, lost echoes. It's exhausting. Do you regret it? Helping the water mother, Amara asked softly. Kemi thought for a moment. No, the city feels less tense now to me anyway, like a fever broke. But I didn't just get my normal vision back. I got this extra channel. It's lonely, Mara. No one else sees it. Except your grandma, Amara reminded her. That was true. Her visits to her grandmother, Aya, had become more frequent, less about duty and more about desperate need for understanding. Her Aya lived in a smaller town a couple of hours outside Lagos, in a house filled with the scent of herbs and wood smoke, a place where the veil between worlds seemed thinner. My sight has grown stronger, child, Aya had said on Kemi's last visit, her ancient eyes meeting Kemi's with unsettling clarity. They were sitting on the veranda, the sounds of village life a gentle murmur around them. You are learning to see the world as it truly is, layers upon layers. This is the gift passed down. Passed down? Kemi had asked, surprised. Her family had never mentioned anything like this. Not everyone in the line receives it, Aya explained, pouring them both some cool palm wine. It skips generations sometimes. Your mother, she has a flicker of it, a strong intuition she dismisses as luck. Your father, grounded firmly in the earth, sees only what is solid. Kemi's parents, that was another complication. Her mother, Biola, was a successful businesswoman, pragmatic and driven. Her father, Toby, an engineer, believed only in what could be measured and built. They were proud of Kemi's tech talents, her ability to navigate the modern world. Trying to explain spirit squirrels or angry lagoon mothers to them felt impossible. They wouldn't understand, Kemi had confessed to Aya. Mama would say I need to focus on my career. Papa would tell me to see a doctor and get a good night's sleep. Aya had smiled gently. Sometimes, those who see the world clearly are the most blind to what is truly happening around them. You do not need to tell them everything, but you must use your gift, Kemi. The city is alive, and not all its inhabitants are kind. Aya's words proved prophetic sooner than Kemi expected. A week after her conversation with Amara, Kemi got a distressed call from her mother. Kemi, have you heard from your brother? Biodan is beside himself. His new workshop, things are happening. Kemi's younger brother, Biodan, had recently opened a small fabrication workshop in an older, industrial part of town, a place filled with the ghosts of defunct factories and lingering energies. Her father had invested heavily. What kind of things, Mama? Kemi asked, her stomach tightening. Machines breaking down for no reason, tools disappearing and reappearing in strange places. Just this morning, a whole batch of welded frames, they were bent, twisted, like something strong just crushed them. And Biodan says he feels watched, feels a coldness even when the machines are running hot. Viola's voice was tight with worry. Your father thinks it's industrial sabotage, but nothing is stolen. It makes no sense. Kemi felt a chill that had nothing to do with the weather. This sounded too familiar, too spiritual. A malevolent presence, focused and disruptive. Mama, tell Bioda not to touch anything if he can help it, Kemi said, her mind racing. I'll come by the workshop tomorrow. She called Aya that evening, her voice low and urgent. Aya, my brother's workshop. Things are happening. It sounds like a spirit. Ah, Aya's voice was grave. The old places hold old energies, Kemi. Not all are welcoming to the new. Tell me what you sense when you are there. The next day, Kemi drove to the workshop. The moment she stepped out of the rideshare car, she felt it, a heavy, stagnant energy clinging to the air, a sense of deep resentment emanating from the very ground. Inside, the feeling intensified. While Biodan and her father discussed broken equipment, pointing out inexplicably damaged tools, Kemi saw what they couldn't. A swirling vortex of dark, angry energy hung in the corner of the workshop, pulsing with malevolence. Jagged tendrils of shadow lashed out, occasionally connecting with a piece of machinery, causing sparks or sudden, unnatural vibrations. And within the vortex, Kemi glimpsed a fleeting, distorted face, ancient, bitter, and radiating intense territorial fury. It's a territorial spirit, Kemi said softly, almost to herself. What are you mumbling about, Kemi? Her father asked, exasperated, running a hand through his hair. Do you see anything useful? A loose wire? Faulty equipment? Kemi hesitated. How could she explain the seething mass of angry energy? No, Papa. The machines look fine electrically anyway. She turned to Biodan, who looked pale and stressed. Biodan, when did this start happening? About a week ago, he said, his eyes darting nervously around the workshop. Right after we broke ground on that extension at the back. We had to dig up some old concrete. Old concrete. Aya Biodan's words echoed in Kemi's mind. The concrete does indeed whisper poison, child, because it is made from materials that have forgotten their sacred origins. Or, in this case, maybe they disturbed something under the old concrete. Back at her apartment that night, Kemi was a whirlwind of research. Digital maps of the area's history, cross-referencing with her grandmother's knowledge via frantic phone calls, trying to understand what might have been on that plot of land before the factories. Aya confirmed her fears. The area had once held significant shrines to minor earth and protection spirits before industrialization bulldozed over them. One, in particular, was known for being fiercely protective of its boundaries. You have disturbed a guardian spirit, Aya explained over the phone, her voice calm but serious. It sees the new building as an invasion, a disrespect to its ancient duty. It wants the intruders gone, and it is using its power to drive them away by ruining their work. How do we stop it? Kemi asked, feeling the weight of her family's livelihood resting on her. It does not want to harm your brother. Not truly, Aya said. It wants respect, recognition, and for its territory to be left undisturbed or at least acknowledged. You cannot build over the old without acknowledging what was there first. You must go to the workshop, Kemi. Speak to the spirit. Apologize for the trespass. Offer it respect. And perhaps a small corner of that land can be set aside, undisturbed, as a token of that respect. Speaking to an invisible, angry spirit felt even more daunting than returning a magical stone. But this was her family. The next morning, Kemi went back to the workshop alone, carrying a small offering, cola nuts, palm wine, and a piece of beautiful, unworked wood, a natural element. Her father and brother were out getting quotes for repairs. Stepping into the workshop, the air was heavy, crackling with spiritual hostility. The vortex of energy was stronger, larger. Kemi took a deep breath, grounding herself. "Spirit of this place," she said, her voice trembling but clear, addressing the empty air near the vortex. "I am Kemi, daughter of the city and sister to the one who builds here. We have trespassed. We have disturbed your rest and your duty. We are deeply, truly sorry." The energy pulsed angrily. She felt a push, cold and invisible, threatening to knock her over. "We did not know," she continued, holding out the cola nuts. "The city forgets what lies beneath its foundations. But I see you. I acknowledge you. This place is yours, as it has been for generations." She placed the nuts and poured the palm wine onto a patch of bare earth near the wall where the extension had been started. "This is an offering of respect, not to drive you away, but to ask for your understanding. To ask if we can share this space, if we can build here with your blessing, acknowledging your presence." She held up the piece of wood. "We can set aside a small space here," she indicated a corner, undisturbed. "A place where your energy can reside in peace while we work alongside, acknowledging the old within the new." The air remained tense. The vortex swirled, but its lashing tendrils seemed to hesitate. The distorted face within was clearer now, etched with ancient pain and resentment. "We mean no harm," Kemi pleaded, tears welling in her eyes, feeling the spirit's deep hurt. "We are just trying to build our lives, our future. But we understand now that we cannot do that by destroying the past. Can we find a way? Can we coexist?" She waited, the silence amplifying the frantic beating of her heart. Slowly, infinitesimally, the dark vortex began to recede. The hostile energy softened, becoming watchful rather than aggressive. The face within the mist seemed less angry, more considering. Then a cold wind swept through the workshop, carrying with it a scent of damp earth and leaves, despite the industrial surroundings. It wasn't a malevolent cold, but something neutral, acknowledging. The spiritual pressure lessened completely. Kemi sank to her knees, relief washing over her. She had been heard. When her father and brother returned, they were astonished to find that the strange issues had stopped. Machines started working again. Tools remained where they were left. Biodan still felt a presence, but it was no longer cold and hostile. Instead, it felt like being quietly observed. Kemi didn't explain the spirit part to them fully. She spoke about the need to respect the land, about making a small, symbolic garden space in the corner of the workshop as a tribute to the history of the area. Her father, though puzzled, agreed. Anything to stop the financial bleeding. Biodan, having felt the inexplicable disturbance firsthand, was more open to the idea. In the following weeks, the workshop ran smoothly. Kemi helped Biodan clear the corner, bringing in potted plants and covering the earth with clean gravel, creating a small, peaceful space. She often felt the quiet energy of the guardian spirit resting there, a silent, watchful presence. Kemi's life didn't become less complicated. She still debugged code that occasionally shimmered, still navigated a city filled with unseen inhabitants. Chinita still rolled his eyes, and Amara still listened with endless fascination. But now she carried the quiet confidence of someone who knew her place in the complex tapestry of Lagos. A daughter of the city, Yes, but also a bridge between the concrete and the spirit, the modern and the ancient. Her gift no longer just a burden, but a responsibility she was learning, step by hesitant step, to embrace. And she knew that somewhere her grandmother was watching and nodding with quiet pride. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.